what you're getting in what you spend. So the fact that you're getting all three defensive free agents that you spent all that money on is putting you in the positive surplus category on returns. That means technically we underpaid.
People continually criticized you for, too, because, well, you're spending a bunch of money on a bunch of young players and overpaying them. You'll never get the money out of the value out of that. I've heard that more than once this offseason. Did you not?
Oh, I've heard it all the time. And you know what? That's why I just told people wait and see. Wait and see for this new defense. In week one, Jerry, I had people laughing in my face on Wednesday, but when I was at work and telling me it's the same old Packers team, and then Thursday game hit. I came in Friday morning. Well, Dave, yeah, we should listen here. It's just, man, we didn't think it was going to be the same Green Bay, or we didn't think that it would be a different Green Bay team. And I'm like, I told y'all off season. I told you I have a podcast. My partner and I have been saying it ever since the post-draft special episode. I'm like, it's not like we haven't told you.
I'm wrong about all kinds of stuff, but honestly, I think the things that I honestly take the most time and think about, like in that post-draft special and our takes about this team's direction, did we not say the offense was going to take a lot? We did not say this team was going to be hot because it was going to come out and melt people offensively. We said
the defense was going to carry the load.
The offense was going to have struggles, but it would slowly find itself. But in the meantime, it would actually have a defense that it would be able to lean on. And look, this offense has still made the plays to win the game, put the points on the board, because the defense hasn't scored any points. It's took points off the board through turnovers, but it has yet to score any points to actually overtake and win the game in that manner. So the offense is done just like we said, right, Dave? It has done its job, but because the defense does not give up a bunch of points, gives you 3-and-outs, gives you turnovers and extra possessions. Even when you have to punt the ball on those extra possessions, it's just the amount, it's an extra possession you get to get your rhythm. And that's what we were saying about it. So it's like the takes we really put stock into, the ones that aren't really kind of facetious, if you mind me saying that, and just kind of off the cuff, are the ones that really are panning out. And we kind of told everybody this kind of stuff for a long time. These were the takes we really delved into. We really spent a lot of time, Dave and I as a team, researching, because these are the things that explain the how and the why of the 2019 Green Bay Packers. And there's a lot of fun stuff that goes on this show. Last night was an example. But at the end of the day, when we get into the how and the why, that's the serious crap that we really mean business. We put a lot of stock into. Dave and I discuss, we research, we look up numbers, we watch stuff. And so that's stuff you really need, we would appreciate you take that serious. Everything else can be taken as for what it is. It's off the cuff. It's fun. It's part of this stuff. It's banter and all that. But the how and the why is serious crap, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Well, that's the thing, is I know I shouldn't, but I like to sit there and kind of serve up someone, especially in trying to get someone on the show, and we still haven't had it happen. Every time we tell someone when they're guests on the show, we tell them the takes. We have had so many people laugh in our face, especially about the Mike Daniels thing. Oh, no, Mike Daniels ain't getting cut. We're going to hold on to him for another year and then let him go. He can go his own way. Man, I remember the day before it happened, we told Maggie, Mike Daniels will not go into training camp as a Packer. No, it's the day before he's going in. No, day starting training camp, not even stepped on the field. Boom, Mike Daniels cut. And everyone was in shock and disbelief in the Packer universe, and me and Jay are just sitting there like.
I laughed when I heard it. Not because I thought it was funny.
No, not because of Mike Daniels being cut of him. It's just the fact that everyone blew us off. And the one show that kept telling everyone since April freaking 26th, it's just been literally a laughing stock in our faces. So when we got to serve up all these plates of crow to everyone, that's when we started gaining a little bit more followers, a little bit more listeners, because they're like, hey, maybe these guys know what they're talking about. Because then Elton Jenkins started having a competition with Lane Taylor in the training camp. Like they told us, oh, that's not going to happen. He's just a rookie. Lane Taylor's a veteran. But he sure was rated the interior best offensive lineman in preseason, and now he's on the verge of taking Lane Taylor's starting spot in week 2, folks. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff. I mean, we have a ton of takes we can go dive through. We're not going to do it, but I'm just throwing you examples of what Jay and I have done as takes, and everyone's laughed in our face on it.
Well, and it's, I'm not trying to toot our own horn, but everybody's fighting for notoriety and attention. And like I said, there's always going to be fun. Like, I like to have fun. It's football. Dave likes to have fun. But when what I'm talking about is when we get into the how and why, that's some serious stuff. We take a lot of pride in that. It's our real football intelligence. It's our nerd out time. It's, and so that's, we're when we're right and people laugh at us, it kind of gets us, it actually motivates us more. And then, of course, it kind of makes us want to peacock a little bit when we're right, because it's not like we're doing it to just it's not like we looked and said, well, what veteran can we decide that's no good? Oh, randomly Mike Daniels. Yeah, he's 30. He sucks. He's going to be cut. Here we go, people. It was like we went through a process of why it was the guy that didn't make sense. And we were all like, yeah, but he is pretty good. I mean, he was injured, but he's still a good player. And it's like, yeah, but, it seems to be it's the year. I mean, there was a process even on air when we were having the conversation of we had to convince ourselves and then, talk it up between you and I before we even came to that decision.
I mean, I think what made that decision for us is seeing Kingsley Keke get drafted.
Well, and watching
Montravius Adams getting noted by Mike Pettin, Dean Lowry getting an extension. It was all puzzle piece after puzzle piece after puzzle piece. And by the time you had the first two, you kind of knew, you already saw the picture. I mean, like I said, yeah, Jay, we don't really want to peacock and short feathers, but we do that because of the fact people come back to us and we're like, well, when do you want to tell us when we were wrong? Yeah.
Fighting, we're clawing, we're scratching, baby. We just want you to know that we as little as we are right now, we are not just full of crap. Okay? That's what this is all about.
Oh, and we called the Darnell Savage pick, too.
Oh, man. I'm so happy we got that kid. And I'm happy with Rashawn Gary. I'm happy with Elton Jenkins. I'm really, after everything that's happened with our draft picks, even the ones that haven't really played a lot, I mean, Kingsley hasn't even been active the first 2 weeks. But I know I heard that he's going to play this week, and I am so freaking pumped because I swear to God, I know this kid's going to be an impact player. And I'm not saying like on every down, but I think if you just put him in pass rush situations right now, I think he can eat quarterbacks up in third down and passing situations. I just think he's got a knack for it. And then I think if you're playing teams that like to run that zone stretch, I think he's got
he has the lateral speed.
Right,
yeah.
But he's got the perfect technique to defend that stretch because he will engage with the guy, and he is just so quick and decisive and powerful of shucking and throwing a guy away and just exploding to the ball carrier. It's exactly what you want from a defensive lineman playing that zone stretch scheme. So I think there's going to be some key games if he's active and healthy and gets his shot. You're going to see this kid. And I know people are thinking, oh, I know you're biased. And yeah, place, and that only solidified us, liking him even more. But it all started from a football aspect of why we like this kid so much. Just to be clear.
Yeah, I really don't understand why Kingsley Keke was out the first 2 weeks. He's he's got the talent. He's got a better skill set than Fadal Brown or Tyler Lancaster. I'm not knocking those guys. I just think Kiki is more talented. I think he's going to be used on what Jay said, passing down, but also as kind of maybe like a roamer for a defensive lineman for screens and blowing up stuff like that, because he has the lateral movement to get out there for plays like meant for screens for Royce Freeman out in the flats and stuff like that.
Well, you saw him do it in the preseason. Chase runners down and screen catchers.
Well, and Royce
down.
Freeman's that receiving back, so I mean that's what I think I agree. That's what I think he's going to be used for.
It's just, I'm definitely rooting for him, and I can't wait to see him. And man, we got to try to figure out how to get some freaking jerseys around these places with that kid's number on it here, because they are hard to find. It's not like he's an everyday player that everybody's. We got to get some jerseys, man. We're gonna have to reach out to his freaking agent and have him send everybody some jerseys for it. Get some rocking, put them on social media. We're rocking jerseys.
Well, you know what? Something had bugged me last night having Chad. I love Chad. I love his football intellect, his the way that he dives in on information and explains it. But there's one thing I have to say. I don't think Denver is going to cover that 7.5-point lead. I got it. The Green Bay offense isn't showing like a monster like it's been in the past. But you guys have seen 2 quarters of football, the second quarter of the Chicago game and the first quarter of the Minnesota game. They've shown they can put it together. Now we see another step taken in this week. Like Jay and I talked last week, you're gonna see a step each week taken. You're gonna see
It's
what
growth.
was it, Jay? Like
Growth within the
one to 3 things each week taken care of, and that's going to be that step. The first step last week was Rodgers watching his own film, getting upset with himself because he knows he saw stuff. In the first quarter, he came right out. Even through the game, not even just the first quarter, through the game, he checked the ball down. Even when you knew that there was a guy going to be at the player at the line of scrimmage for the check down, and he was going to get 2 or 3 yards, he took it.
He stayed clean, except for
yes.
And I said it to Chad. There was a couple of plays, and we found out later that those plays when he held the ball and he took the sacks, right? One was when he came off the field and he yelled at LaFleur, and they tried to make a big deal, and it was because the player not only ran the wrong depth, but he ran the complete wrong route, so it was like he wasn't even running the right play. And it was one of Rodgers' probably first 2 looks. He ends up having to try to hold the ball, nobody else, and he takes a sack. So it was like, at least even when he was doing it, there was circumstances for the reason of him holding the ball. It wasn't because he was falling back. So yes, he was consistent, and even if it wasn't always pretty, at least they got 3 yards and then punted the ball. So you know what? There was an extra 3 yards on that punt, and that 3 yards can make all the difference in the world on a field goal or not. It's just stupid little stuff like that I would just prefer to see than to take a big shot. And 5% of the time you get a big play, but the other 95% of the time you punt from 3rd and 20.
Well, last week, you said 1 to 3 things, and I agreed with you on that. 1, him watching his film. 2, he now wore a wristband, or not a wristband, an armband with the plays and the audibles all on that wristband.
Which he's never done in his career before, even as a rookie.
First time, had the plays up to the line on time. I think we had one instance where it got down to 1 second, and he took a timeout. Normally, we'd burn through timeouts each half really quick because the line's not, or the players aren't getting up to the line. They're not making the adjustments correctly. I mean, now he has that. This is his second game now wearing that wristband. It's muscle memory to him. He's going to have, so that's something he doesn't need to worry about. He's going to get the plays in quicker. I mean, now, and on top of that, I hate to say it, but I think the Packers offense are going to put up points without Jimmy Graham being in this weekend. He hasn't played back-to-back practices and has a severe groin injury. If he does play, he is selfish and he's hurting the team.